So now we are going to our hero portion of the show with Melanie, and we are discussing the Wild TV series that you have, your TV series. And I kind of wanted to explore a little bit about notoriety a little bit because
Okay.
there are risks that are associated with becoming a public figure. Now, that could be you on your show, but for people that are watching, it could be being involved in one of your local groups and you're a chair, or you're a manager of a bank, or anywhere where you can be maybe considered maybe important in your community. And so people want to get to know you, or they want to get close to you
Right.
because of that. And so what kind of risks has that posed for you, or how has it changed your mindset, or what have you noticed?
So it's an interesting question. I think it can be seen from a few different perspectives. My first thought would be myself, my entire family, my husband and our two kids. They're 11 and 14 and have been around through this whole thing with us. It's our show is a family show, so they're involved in it. Kirsten, being the youngest, this year was the most she's been involved. So now she's being recognized from that perspective. So I would say that the first piece of that is just the interesting nature of being recognized in public. Hayden, our 14-year-old, he would probably have been the first that started to get recognized in public because he's done a couple of really bizarre things on YouTube. So we'd go places and people would recognize him and we'd kind of laugh about it, and it ended there. But now this last year, I would say, is when it's, we go out in public certain places and out of province, sometimes in the States, and people look at you kind of funny, and it takes you a moment to think, is this a uncomfortable sort of safety feeling, or is it just that they recognize you? And in many cases, that's been the case, and people will come up to you and say, "Hi, I'm a big fan of your show," that sort of thing. So it's humbling. It's a very cool experience. It feels really neat to know that people appreciate what you're doing and want to get to know you and shake your hand and tell you that where they're from and that sort of thing. So that's one piece of it. I think the other part of it that makes me think of is, like you mentioned, we have our cabin rentals available on our website and Airbnb. And so that's an interesting piece of it, is that a lot of those folks are booking a place to stay and have no idea who we are. They don't know we have a TV show necessarily. And so it is what it is sometimes until they get there. And there is, some promotional stuff in the cabin so people get to know the show and who we are. But some people book and they do know who we are, and there'll be requests to hang out together, or it'd be nice to meet you and have a fire together and that sort of thing. And it's great and it's wonderful, but it's always sort of that pause. And is this good idea, bad idea? Do we have the time? Sometimes it's a case of, we'd love to get to know them. They're fans of the show. Yeah. But can we make the time, right? So there's a lot of thoughts, I guess, with a question like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, just because I had some experience with radio, and you can have kind of fixations, and you can have so you really do have to probably judge, right? Like the safety of that. And so, and I mean, that can even happen with people that are, like I said, like bank managers, or you don't know,
Correct.
why someone's getting close to you. Right.
Yes.
And I think about that kind of going back to the whole social engineering part of it.
Yeah, okay.
I couldn't help but kind of grab that, because then, is this just somebody innocent? Is this somebody unbalanced, or is this somebody that has nefarious intentions, right?
Correct.
And so that's where you're, I think you're always I think you talked about your gut quite a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, that you really have to go with that gut feeling, and because you are seeing these people in person.
Yes.
Right. So, but that's also an opportunity for people to social engineer, try to get close to you, or try to get close to your information, right?
Yeah, for sure. And, even on that side of things, again, going back to cabin rentals, our cabins are on our property. And so there's also just the fact that we have kids, right? And so there is that side of it that, again, a lot of times people who are booking those cabins, they don't even know who we are. And so it's quite fine. And our kids are running around the yard, and they're always happy to meet kids that are doing the same thing. There's kids playing soccer and running around and on the playground at our property. And it's fun to watch them meet people that have no idea who they are and is completely different to what, we do on the outside of this. So there is that, but we do, there's little bits you're mindful of when, there's people that are on the property
Well, strangers.
Yeah, they're strangers.
Until you get to know them.
That's right. Until you get to know them. And in some cases, we do get to know those folks that are there. And in many cases, we don't. And so that's, you never quite know.